Oh, Canada, the great white north, the land of sweet stuff for your pancakes, the place who most desperately wants you to know that they are not Americans. And Greenland, the most misleading place name in the history of ever. Its name suggests lush, green forest and prairies, but we all know that's not true. But what is true is that these two gigantic places will be the subject of today's video. I'm Trey, and welcome to the Flags of the World, Canada and Greenland. I hope you enjoy. To begin, we will go over Canada and their 13 provinces and territories. But just like my America video, we will be talking about Canada's national flag itself. The Canadian flag is a red, white, red tricolor with a maple leaf in the center. The maple leaf is quite possibly one of, if not the, most famous Canadian symbols. The colors represent peace, prosperity, and hope. The maple leaf represents Canada's cultural heritage and vast natural resources. The number of points on the maple leaf don't actually mean anything, but they are instead the result of meticulous testing in high wind conditions to see which one looked the best. Additionally, this flag is unique in the sense that it has an entire design named after it. Notice how the middle stripe takes up half the flag and not just a third like most tricolors? This is called a Canadian pale, a design with a wider middle stripe to allow for more space for design elements and symbolism. In Canada's case, it allows for the maple leaf to take up a larger portion of the flag. Anyways, let's begin with Newfoundland and Labrador. This flag is really cool. It has not just one, but two weapons on it. Where? Here and here. How? Well, the golden arrow is not only representative of how the province will head into a brighter future, but it's also a sword. A sword represents the sacrifice of the Newfoundlanders and Labradorians in military service. And all of this stuff here forms a trident. And what does that represent? Yep, you guessed it. Fishing! Alright, now that we have all that stuff out of the way, we can look at the colors. The blue represents the water in the seas, the white the snow and ice, the red human effort, and the gold represents confidence. And on top of all of that, the red triangles represent the two parts of the province. Yeah, both parts look pretty triangular to me. The shaping colors that make up the flag are also reminiscent of the Union Jack, since the province was a part of the British Empire for a while after Canada gained its independence. I love this flag so much. This is actually my favorite Canadian subdivision flag, because it's just that cool. Nova Scotia's flag is evil Scotland. No, literally. This is Nova Scotia's flag, and this is Scotland's flag. Anyways, this flag is a white field with a blue cross and the royal coat of arms of Scotland in the center. Sounds familiar. The resemblance to Scotland is very clear here. There's St. Andrew's Cross, the colors, the coat of arms, even the name. Nova Scotia literally means New Scotland, since Nova Scotia had its origins from Scottish colonists. That's right, Scotland had a colonial empire. Isn't that crazy to think about? New Brunswick's flag is just their coat of arms blown into a banner. It's a yellow field with a boat and some waves at the bottom. At the top, there's a really long lion in a red field. I don't like the way he's looking at me. Ugh. The long lion is an homage to the royal arms of England or the Duchy of Brunswick-Lunenburg. Nobody really knows which. Personally, I believe it's from Brunswick-Lunenburg, not just because of the name, but also because of the gold. Ooh, shiny. Also, the boat represents the boats that the American Loyalists used to boat over to the province during the American Revolutionary War. Also, a fun side note, when this flag gets smushed down into stamp form, the lion looks either really happy to be here or he wants us dead. It's up to you which way you interpret this. Wow. Prince Edward Island's flag is certainly a flag with a really long lion. Again. In a red field. Again. And guess what? There's an island here with trees, just like the actual island. But unlike the actual island, this island is floating in a white void. Field. Whatever. The big tree represents England, and the three small trees represent the three counties that make up the province. And the island represents, you guessed it, Prince Edward Island and England. Quebec's flag is a blue field with white cross and 4 fleurs-de-lis. The white and the fleur-de-lis represent purity, while the blue represents heaven. The symbolism originates from the banner honoring the Virgin Mary. This is one of the most recognizable flags in all of Canada, second to only the Canadian flag itself. Quebec is also the second most populous subdivision in Canada, second to only Ontario. Quebec is also the second largest subdivision in Canada, second only to Nunavut. Quebec also has the second largest economy in all of Canada, second to only Ontario. Wait a second. Canadian Texas, is that you? The flag of Manitoba is a red field with a Union Jack in the canton and the shield of their coat of arms on the fly. Hey, that's my line. No, it isn't. That's my line. No, it's not yours. It's mine. You're supposed to read Manitoba's bit. Oh, I read Manitoba's part. You read Manitoba's part. I read Ontario's. No, seriously. My line says, the flag of open bracket Ontario / Manitoba close bracket is a red field with a Union Jack in their canton and their shield on their coat of arms on the fly. Oh! The guy that wrote our script wrote Ontario's and Manitoba's segments in the same line to show that their flags are virtually indistinguishable from one another. Oh, that makes sense. Saskatchewan is not only the Canadian province with the most difficult name to pronounce and spell, but it's also the Canadian province with the most flag. It's simply a green and yellow bicolor with Saskatchewan's coat of arms in the canton and a western red lily in the fly. This flag is actually a map. Kinda. The green on top represents the forests in the north, and the yellow at the bottom represent the grain fields and the prairies in the south. And the western red lily is Saskatchewan's provincial flower. Oh, that's good. That's good. Just the energy boost I needed. All right, Alberta. Let's see what you have to offer. Really? British Columbia not only has a misleading name, but it also has a misleading flag. They aren't British, the Columbia River doesn't look like that, and they aren't on the sun. Apparently the sun and the crown represent the province facing the capital of Canada because British Columbia is the westernmost province in the country. I don't really see that, but that's what the description says. But the setting sun could be seen as how the sun sets over the province last. I guess. I don't know. Yukon's flag is a green, white, blue tricolor with Yukon's coat of arms and a wreath of fireweed in the center. You might see this flag and think, oh my goodness, it's a Canadian pale. But you'd be wrong! The ratio is actually 1 to 1.5 to 1. So close. The colors represent probably exactly what you think they mean. Forest, snow, and water. Honestly, in my opinion, the flag would be better if they just made the coat of arms the flag. But just the shield part, actually just the bottom part of the shield part, that would work really well as a flag. Northwest Territories flag is a blue, white, blue tricolor with a shield of their coat of arms in the center. You might see this flag and think, oh my goodness, it's a Canadian pale, and you'd be right! This is the only subdivision in Canada to use the Canadian pale in the flag, which is really surprising to me. Once again, the colors are pretty easy to predict here. They represent the snow and the water. And to put it simply, the coat of arms represents Arctic Ocean, Northwest Patches, tree, tundra, somehow, minerals, and furs. How much of none of it would you consider to be part of the Great White North? It's not none of it, it's all of it. Get it? Oh. Nunavut's flag is a yellow and white bicolor with a red Inukshuk in the center and a blue star in the upper right corner. The yellow and the blue represent the riches of the land, sea, and sky. The star is the North Star, which is important to the people native to the region since it is a key navigational beacon. The Inukshuk is a traditional stone monument used to guide travelers and to mark sacred sites, and it is red to represent all of Canada as a whole. If you look at it from really far away, it kind of looks like a very rudimentary maple leaf. Isn't that nice? Oh yeah, and the white doesn't officially represent anything, but I think we can all agree what it's meant to represent. That's right. Say it with me. The salt in the Hudson Bay. All right, fellas, now that we're done with the Great White North, let's move on to the Greater White North. Greenland's flag is a white and red bicolor with an inverted disc slightly to the hoist. According to its designer, Thu Christensen, the white stripe represents the glaciers and the ice caps, and the red stripe represents the ocean. The disc represents a half-set sun, with the red part being the sun, and the white part being the sun's reflection in the water. Unfortunately, none of Greenland's subdivisions have their own flags, which will be a trend that you will see throughout the rest of the series. Alright, that's all for the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. And stay tuned! Mexico is coming up next. Goodbye!